Coming out of the nightmare abyss of the piney woods of East Texas, the Random Horror Show, the best in commentary and reviews in horror, sci-fi, fantasy, cult classics, and the obscure from film, television shows, and literature. Join our horror hostess, Keisha Lacey, as she is scary, but random, horrific, and funny. Last but not least, she will chill you to the bone.
Welcome back to the Random Horror Show. I am your horror hostess, Keisha Lacey, coming straight out of these dark, spooky, macabre, the craziness of it all, nightmarish hell of horrors of the Iron Pine Curtain, better known as East Texas. Appreciate it, y'all, for coming out and listening to me with the Random Horror Show. Of course, like just being silly and random in horror, science fiction, fantasy, cult classics, in the obscure, in movies, television shows, literature, and our wonderful guests that pop in and chat with yours truly. Well, I got an obscure horror mystery film, and this one is obscure as it gets and everything. And it goes by two titles. And tonight's episode, I'm going to be talking about Butcher Baker Maker or Night Warning. This is an 80s horror mystery film. It came out I'm gonna tell you, it's really terrifying. It's crazy. It's nutty as like I don't know what. It's like to me, the most terrifying thing about this like film is just not about just blood and guts. It's just the subject matter which really scared the daylights out of me. And if you have not watched this movie, like, please do go see it because it is phenomenal. It is nuts. It is like, holy crap, what the hell did I just watch right here? So, we have Susan Tyrell. And if y'all don't know who Susan Tyrell is, she is the mom that plays on Crybaby, Crybaby with Johnny Depp and Iggy Pop. She's the mom and she is in this film, and oh my gosh, do she just not steal the show in this movie? She steals it, bruh. We also have like the late Bill Paxton, and Bill Paxton actually auditioned for the role of Billy, which is played by Jimmy McNichol, and he didn't get the part, but he played Eddie. Uh, you see this very young Bill Paxton, which Bill Paxton like became like so like very popular like in his works, especially with Frailty. Also directed Frailty. I don't know why people crapped on Frailty, because Frailty was like a really just messed up, twisted ass movie. It was nuts, and I feel that Bill Paxton, when he directed it, he wrote it, that I feel that it's like a slap in the face to him, because really he like really put a lot of like everything into Frailty. We also have Bo Svenson, who plays like the detective, and I'm going to be talking about this detective. Lord have mercy. But it is like, back in the 80s, and I feel that like a lot of movies back in the 80s really did a lot of whoo. It was like just wilding out. But this movie right here, it wilds it out. But let's go right on ahead and talk about Nightmare Warning, or Butcher Baker Nightmare Maker. So you already know in the beginning that it gives away who the villain in this movie, which is Susan Tyrell's character, Aunt Cheryl. We see a mom and dad, And I was like, oh my gosh, this is giving me traumatized. I'm being traumatized because they're getting in the car, they're going off on vacation, and you see this young little boy just screaming and hollering. And I was just like, oh my gosh, it just reminded me so much whenever like my dad like used to come and pick my brother up and we'd be screaming and hollering because he had to drop us off or something crazy like that. I know it just like took me back, and I was like, you know what, I'm an 80s kid. um this is like where we have to learn, like, okay, we just can't depend on our parents because they're gonna be God. So he's like screaming and hollering, for his mom and dad, and Aunt Cheryl, how I take good care of him. But you know that she is going to be the villain in this movie. And unfortunately, some magically, like some bullshit happened that the brakes are out on the car. So mom and dad did the flip the lip the loop the loop, and of course that the biggest explosion ever. Because cars were made out of steel, and I was just like, and cars shouldn't even be like all bent the fuck up like that. But they were very explosive and shit because the way how they were made, the gas and everything. So in that typical like 80s fashion, anything that's like off of a cliff is gonna blow up and everything. So you can expect that. So it's been 14 years, and you see a 17-year-old Billy. He's grown up and he's like a young man now. And I was like, wow, I'm going to have a 17-year-old, boy myself. So you see Aunt Cheryl looking through his wallet. Now I'm getting pissed off like a motherfucker. Cause I'm like, what the hell are you doing in his wallet? What are you looking for? And she finds a condom, then she takes it. And then she's all up on him, like rubbing all up on him and shit. And I was just like, oh my God, I'm getting grossed out. I'm getting grossed out. And I'm gonna be talking about, this is like where the part of like you thought like toxic boy moms of TikTok and everywhere else is like this. No, they ain't got shit on this woman right here, Cheryl. Okay? They ain't got shit on her. But there's a twist and a twist and everything in this movie. So Aunt Cheryl, she's all like, I love my baby boy, Billy, he's my nephew and everything else. So he's going off to college. He's like really great in basketball. He's got a full ride scholarship. He's just cannot wait to like go. He has a girlfriend named Julie. He's been seeing her. And of course, Aunt Cheryl is not very happy because, nephew Billy is having, mwah, mwah, mwah with like Julie, and she does not like that shit. Okay? She doesn't like that. So going off into the movie, that Aunt Cheryl is a little strange. She's a little bit off a rocker. Her cheese has slid off a cracker. She is two fries like short of a Happy Meal. Okay, the heifer is just throwed off crazy. So she was putting on like her cute little stuff and everything, her little outfit. So somewhat like her neighbors like set her up with a date with one of um the neighbors like husband, friends and everything. So she getting all ready. So, you got this handyman coming in. So she trying to make some like moves on the handyman, and handyman like, wait a minute, I don't know you like this lady. I come and fix your pipes, not like that, but I'm fixing your pipes. What's wrong in your kitchen? And she was like, oh, you don't want me? Oh my God, you don't find me attractive. She's going through some weird ass, like psychotic shit and everything. So he was like, I don't want you, chick. He was like shaking her ass and shit. And she got pissed off. So, like, she was like, God dang it, you don't want me and stuff. Her titty done flopped out and everything. He was like, you know what? If you like that and everything, here, get to it. You know what I'm saying? He was just like, if you gonna be like that, do it. So she got pissed and she stabbed his ass Billy, on the other hand, was looking through the kitchen window and he seen that Aunt Cheryl was stabbing the guy. And he was like, holy crap, Aunt Cheryl, what are you doing? Why are you stabbing this dude? This is crazy. And she was like, he tried to like sexually assault me. I'm telling you, like back in the day, like them movies were wild and stuff. So you got like police chief captain coming in, and you gonna have a problem with like this man and stuff, cause this man ain't nothing but racist. He's like homophobic. He is jumping to stupid conclusions. Like this dude is just so unhinged as like this detective. He is like so chauvinistic. So he's questioning Aunt Cheryl. She was telling him everything else. And he was like, well, I don't believe you because the dude ain't got his dick out. And you hollering at me. And he was like asking her some throwed off ass questions. He was like, do you like girls? And she just looked at him like, you pig. She called him you pig. And I was like, I know, Aunt Cheryl. And she sat there and told the fucking truth. Like, I killed him. I killed him. And I was just like, bro, like, seriously, you are a crummy ass detective. You got too much going on. Your insecurities. And you can't even like solve a case if it was right in front of you. So he was like just trying to just dig in deep, pushing her buttons. And she kept telling him, like, I killed the dude. I killed the dude. Okay, so the neighbors was over there. They was trying to calm her down and stuff. And then her neighbor friend was like, like, yo, why you talking like that to him and stuff? Like, that ain't cool. And he was like, was I talking to you? He was being rude as shit. I mean, he was just so aggro. I was like, oh my God, I'm about to cuss you out. Which I was doing all through the movie because I was cussing Aunt Cheryl out and I was cussing him out because they had my blood pressure going and I don't even have blood pressure problems. So he goes to Billy and he is literally trying to say that Billy is the one that stabbed the man in the kitchen because him and Aunt Cheryl have like this incestuous relationship. And Billy's like, what the fuck are you talking about? I am not like that. You're really disgusting. But he seen like how Aunt Cheryl was clinging on to Billy because really, if you get to thinking about it and stuff, like she really was like kind of right out there with that shit, of toxic boy moms. So, or toxic boy aunts to be clear. So he was like assuming that Billy came in, stabbed the dude because, he, having sex with his aunt, which he was like 100% wrong. But he was 1% on point because he do notice that Cheryl is a little bit overprotective of Billy. Now there is another like detective that's like trying to figure out all this stuff. Now the detective that's figuring everything out, he had like much common sense and everything else. So he was like, look, dude, like, I found some clues on this and everything. This is not settling right. You know, now you're trying to accuse this boy of saying he murdered this man, but really he's not doing it because everything is kind of like very convoluted because it goes back to his parents' death. So it says, like, in a rumor that the brakes were tampered with. So, like, the real smart detective was like on point of like how to investigate a case and actually look for clues, while like the home dude and everything, and I'm gonna find up home dude name, the doofus and everything. The doofus dumb is the detective Joe Carlson. Joe Carlson was just trash. He was trash. He also like proposed this big freaking theory because of his home being homophobic that he pinned Billy of being gay. So he figured out like the ring that the victim had, on his finger, in the kitchen that Aunt Cheryl kills supposedly have essayed her, that he came to like Billy's coach. And of course he's like, look, I know you're gay, and the guy that you were with, the supposedly that have sexually assaulted Miss, homegirl, Aunt Cheryl, uh he ain't into like coochie. He into like sausages. And so he like threatened the coach of saying you need to resign. And I was just like, what a fucking prick. What a prick. I was like, you not only you threatening Billy, and you're saying that Billy is gay, which Billy isn't. Now you threaten his very nice coach that has like helped Billy during out these high school years, and to like help him to get a scholarship to play in basketball for University of Denver. And you're threatening this man who has not done nothing to you. He's just existing, and he is being a great basketball coach. And I don't give a shit that he's gay. And I was just like, oh man, he really do have a lot of love for Billy. And that like, he know that Billy, needed a very good, strong role model. And that's what his coach was. He was a very strong male positive role model. And that's the one thing that like Detective Carlson was pissed off and everything, because he's like, how's this fag and everything, around these boys, and he ain't trying to, and I was like, bro, you need to be kicked off the force. But I'm gonna tell you this right here. Oh, detective got his just dues. You know what I'm saying? Because all that acting, that bullshit that he was doing all through the movie, he got his shit. He got it what was coming to him. Okay, he got what it was coming to him. So there is some happiness with what's going on and everything. So he has this whole crock theory saying that, just because Billy is raised by women, that he is gay. And I was like, that is so absurd of what you said. Okay, sir. So, you got to understand back in those times, like around the 80s and the 70s, that was like that mindset of that. But really, we know it's not true. But this movie is, like I said, it's like for people right now, it probably is it's problematic and everything, but it is so good to where you have to like, if you don't want to watch it, that's fine. But I find this movie to be like literally like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe what the hell that I'm just watching. So throughout this movie, we come to find out that like Aunt Cheryl has been holding on to some strange secrets of her own. And Cheryl is not mentally well, because we find out that there used to be a boyfriend that Aunt Cheryl used to get with, and she doesn't talk about him that much. She also has like a secret chamber to worship her ex-boyfriend. And you'll find out later on when you watch this movie, you be like, what? You like, this girl done fell off her coconut and everything. And then there's like this big old twist, and I'm talking about the twist among the old twist. And like how M. Night Shyamalan is like about the twist, like how the Sixth Sense, and everybody was like, oh my god, this is such a good movie. Which Sixth Sense? This is a really good movie because of that twist right there. Now this is like a twist that you ain't even seen coming, because this is like so freaking thrilled. I mean, even it like was just so sick, and I was just like, oh my gosh. I'm like, this is, oh my God, it was just a nightmare. Like, this is a nightmare for Billy. You feel so sorry, like, for Billy, because he doesn't even, he just did not know nothing about his Aunt Cheryl until later on in the movie. Aunt Cheryl like drugs him. Aunt Cheryl goes on this tirade of just murking people to not get close to Billy because she does not want Billy to go away, just like her ex-boyfriend. But like I said, Aunt Cheryl has some secrets of her own that is just real straight creepy. And like Susan Tyrell really played the hell out of Aunt Cheryl. But at the end, you talking about at the last act where everything is building and swelling up. And I'm telling you, throughout this movie and everything, like it really does grab you. It does not let go. I mean, it has so much shocking things like in this film that you can't even like really just like, whoa, what? You have to rewind and you're like, are you serious? Yes, it's that serious. It's so serious and everything. It actually just had me just want to fight Aunt Cheryl and just fucking just beat the fuck out of her. I want to beat the shit out of Carlson and everything because he is a total asshole. So really, if you think about it, Carlson and like Aunt Cheryl are like really the villains like in this film. And that is a real big doo-wop in here. But like I said, the last act, it was just crazy as hell. She goes ballistic, you know, bodies start piling up. And then at the end, which was really like sad for Billy, but like I said, Detective Carlson got his just due, and I was very, very extremely happy about what he got out of this. He did something so messed up that I was just like, really, dude? Like, are you serious? Why would you do that to the coach? Why would you do that? And oh, by the way, the coach resigned because he was like dead center and so dead ass to like out the coach of his sexuality and him, being a partner with like the victim that Aunt Cheryl killed in her kitchen. So he was very twisted and he did some twisted ass shit. He said some really twisted ass messed up things and everything. Like I said, if you're not ready for like all of this right here, then don't watch it. If you're ready for it, watch it because horror is always going to be something very shocking and also very like something that we can actually relate to, especially with this film. Now I'm going to go right in about like the subject matter of this film. This film is nothing but the horror of Aunt Cheryl having an emotional incestuous relationship with Billy. Billy is so unaware of what's going on. She manipulates Billy. She plays like on his emotions. He tries to like make her very happy whenever she has an outburst or, whenever he told her about him going off to college. She was like, "Don't leave me. I don't want to be alone." To the point where she doesn't even want Julie, his girlfriend, she doesn't want like Billy to have a relationship with nobody whatsoever. And she tries to so hard to sabotage Billy's future and dreams. And I was just like, wow, and this is like really common, especially whenever you have moms that are too wrapped up and too wound up into their sons. And I'm gonna let you know what that is shit is all about. That is nothing but misogyny. That's nothing but her, feeling wounded from something that happened in her childhood or teenage years or whatever. She hasn't dealt with that trauma. She may have been like solely rejected and everything else, blah, blah, blah. We can go into a psychological blah, 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 blah about that and everything. But when she has a son, she's not going or has a nephew or son or nephew, it doesn't matter. She would like attach like her whole being to this male child. It doesn't matter if it's a son or a nephew, grandson, or whatever, because she feels that if I do this right here, I will be male validated by this, this male, this boy child that's growing up. He's not going to tell me that he hates me. He's going to love me forever. He's going to put me on a pedestal because, nobody's never put me on a pedestal. I will do anything that I can to literally make sure that nobody has him. And it's very, very selfish. It's very, very traumatizing. And it's super, super toxic and very dysfunctional for just any parent. It doesn't matter if you're a mom or you're a dad and everything. I mean, this even happens to like girls also when you have moms that have an emotional incestuous relationship with their daughters and stuff. I mean, you've seen the movie Precious, and there's another movie out there, I forgot what it is, but it's a foreign film about a woman who is a pianist. She plays the piano very well, but her mother insists that she will be with her forever, sleep in a bed with her forever. And yes, that has some stuff that has happened also. But you gotta understand that this like creates like a very, very, very dangerous, like mind fuckery, especially, for Billy, because he's like, I'm trying to make her happy, but I have to live my own dreams. I want to like go play basketball. I'm going to college. I have a girlfriend. She's going to the same college as me. He wants to have like a really full life. But then you have Aunt Cheryl reminding him, I have sacrificed 14 years for you and everything else. And I was just like, bitch, shut the fuck up. Okay? Just shut the fuck up. Because she wanted, I was ready to like wring her damn neck. That's just how good Susan Tyrell was. I wanted to wring her neck so badly because I have a son too, but I'm not like on that bullshit. Okay? My son, okay, student of the month. He's going to like a summer program that's like helping him with college, okay? He is good. Okay? I want that for my baby. All right? Because I want him to have a full functioning life as a grown human being that is a guy, and I want him to like, fulfill his dreams and achieve his aspirations and everything else. Mom is good. Mom knows how to like cat around. She also got hobbies of her own, and she also got dreams and aspirations and goals, her damn self. And and it's good to like have your son or your daughter to like have a very healthy relationship with you as a parent. But when they grown, you gotta let the baby birds fly. Because if you don't let the baby birds fly and you sitting there clipping their fucking wings off, and guess what? This can lead into their adult life where they cannot have healthy, romantic relationships or platonic relationships with the opposite sex, to like being married, to where the mom who does all this bullshit that the son cannot get off from under her thumb because she just have deliberately just brainwashed him and poisoned him ever since he was a child. So in this, that is the horror about this film, is how she is nothing but poison to Billy. And your heart just breaks over and over for Billy. He doesn't have really, I mean, he has his coach to turn to. And that was the greatest thing about that. You see his coach, reaching out to him, letting him know that he's always going to be there for him and everything else, because that's the part that I liked. It does not matter if his coach likes the same thing like I like, which is dick. Who gives a shit? that coach was there for Billy, and that's the one part that is like the really, silver lining, in this film is that Billy actually do have somebody that cares for him, even though that he's not his father or whatever, that it's like he is like his outside, his thing, his like lining from the outside to the outside world is his basketball coach. Now you have Eddie, which is played by Bill Paxton, and Bill Paxton's character Eddie does not like Billy because he's jealous. He's got a cute girlfriend. He's really good at basketball. He's just insecure, and he does like call Billy, those like, slurs and stuff like that. And Billy whoops his ass. That was funny as shit. I was like, that's what you get. That's what you get, punk. You shouldn't even be messing with that boy like that. That boy is sweet. The boy is very respectful. He is. Billy grew up to be a very respectful young man. I mean, even down to like him and his girlfriend having like an intimate moment and stuff. The one part that like I was so pissed off is when Billy and his girlfriend Julie had that intimate moment together. Guess who was creeping up? Aunt Cheryl. Aunt Cheryl came in, start calling names and all kind of crazy stuff. Now Julie walked out, you know what I'm saying? She put her clothes out and everything else. That was very embarrassing and stuff like that. And I sit there in my head. I said, you know what? If I ever walked on my son, not to be nosy or nothing like that, but I'm just like, hey, what you? Oh, snap! I would close the door. You know what I'm saying? Because that's his business. But then again, I'd be like, y'all should have took that somewhere else. But it would scare me, but I wouldn't be an idiot to like say to my son, he's having an intimate moment with his girlfriend and start yelling and screaming and hollering. But the one thing that really pissed me the fuck off about Aunt Cheryl is that when Billy went in the shower, she just walks into the bathroom. He is butt naked. I don't want to look at. Oh my God. I'm like, bitch, you have no shame in your game. Like, that young man is butt naked. I would not have a conversation with him. I will wait till he gets out of the shower. I will wait till he puts on his clothes, and then we have a conversation about that right there, being careful and everything else. But I would not sit there and walk on in him. And look, she did not care about his boundaries. And he was just like, and I could tell, like, in Billy's face, it's like, can she get the fuck out? I'm trying to take a shower. It was making him so uncomfortable. Even though he's arguing with her, he was just like, can she get out? I'm a grown man. Things have changed. Why is she doing this? Because she does not care about your boundaries, Billy. And that's what boy moms do. They don't give a shit about their son's boundaries. They don't give a fuck. Those toxic boy moms, they don't give a damn. They don't give a damn about his boundaries. They don't give a shit about if he has a girlfriend. They cuss her out. They call her a bitch. They call her all kinds of stuff. They don't really give a fuck because in their head, their son is their man. He is their lover, their everything. And like I said, this is why you have, the mama's boys that gets into that's in these relationships with their moms is because, and that's the reason why we always say stay away from mama's boys. Like, you can have a really awesome relationship with your mom, but then again, when you're with your person and your mom keeps butting in 24/7, all up in your business and everything else, and she's showing so much like disdain and hate, towards, the girlfriend, and you're being respectful. And I speak from experience, and it's like, you know what? I'm dipping out of this because you can have him. I'm not fighting you over your son, because I can see now that you really don't want nobody to be with your son. Ever. Ever, ever, ever. And I'm just like, bitch, you can't die. I'm like, you will get old and you will die. But then again, the question is what I always pondered and stuff, especially with sons that have toxic moms that do shit like this, is that are you waiting for your mom to die? Are you gonna plan some kind of like psycho Anthony Perkins type shit? I mean, that's the question that I want to like know about these young men and these adult men that have these moms that runs their freaking life, to like dating, to like children, to like every aspect of their life. Like, is it that bad to where you can't stand up and grow a fucking backbone to your mom and tell her to back off? Do you not recognize that she is very manipulative? I'm not saying to hate your mother, but then again, you got to think about it. When you start hearing some dude that's being very resentful to his mom, and then you start peeking in, on the back, on the low of what's going on, and you recognize that shit, I'm telling you, ladies, you better fucking run. I'm telling y'all, run away from that, because like that guy has been so entrenched deep into to that he doesn't even know that he's in it. He just thinks that his mom is just mean very well, but he doesn't realize that his mom has been brainwashing him for ever since birth, and it's nuts. It's crazy, and I'm just like, damn. I mean, even me, I had to like deal with something like that with a parent of mine, but I'm just like, look, no, who the fuck is you? You know what I'm saying? It's like, I love you, but I love you from afar, because you are really creeping me out. You're being weird, and I am your child, but I'm an individual. And you got to think about, whenever you recognize things early on within your childhood, especially when you have parents that are very codependent on you and sometimes use you as a punching bag, or use you just for emotional, baggage, or dump their whole baggage and everything on you, that you have to like really pull yourself up and not be a victim, and really like recognize the things, and like undo those patterns or some thoughts, um to where you are able to have a healthy relationship with somebody, platonic to like romantic, even when you have your children. You have to like recognize like some of the dumb shit that your parents did, or some of the fucked up shit that your parents have like instilled in you, and you're saying like this is wrong, and then they're saying like no, you're crazy, and then you're like, oh shit, I need to get away. So you have to like stand up on your own. You have to like literally stand up on your own, because you're a grown ass person, and you just cannot let your parent, overrule you every fucking time in your adult life, to where it makes you miserable, to where you resent them. So you have many, many choices, to not only to recognize those patterns, but also to get out of bullshit like that. Doesn't mean you hate them, you love them, but you just like, look, these are my boundaries. This is what it is. And if you can't fucking respect it, I'm dipping, I'm gone. That's it. That's all you have to do. But like I said, the horror of this movie is about this, and also how you have some people that feel that they are detectives, like Detective Carlson, that concocts some weird ass shit, but he was slightly on point, but he got the shit backwards. He did not trust anybody. He was very racist. He was very bigoted. Um, very homophobic, chauvinistic. He had a lot of issues, and it just made everything just get worse and worse, like in the movie. And he was like more of like the push of this film. He was, and also the villain, just the same way as Aunt Cheryl. But thank you all for listening on my thoughts on Butcher, Baker, Nightmare Maker, or Night. Warning, it is rated R. Yo, you can catch it like on Prime, on AMC Plus. It is definitely something you just say WTF. It doesn't have a lot of blood, it doesn't have a lot of gore, but it is an actuality of something that you may recognize, or something that you are going through, or you might have a parent that is like Aunt Cheryl, or aunt or uncle. It doesn't even matter, you know. But it's very complex. I think that like it did a really good job of like presenting that, but there's like more to it, because I think it's like part of a book. But yeah, it's pretty intense, and I'm gonna tell you, you're gonna start talking real mad shit. You gonna talk mad shit to Aunt Cheryl, and you gonna scream at her. I'm telling you, you're gonna be screaming at her. You're gonna be sounding like Justin Whitehead, like whenever he be screaming at the TV. Like if you ever watch Justin Whitehead with the My 600 Pound Life, you're gonna be just like Justin Whitehead. I swear on Crip, you would be exactly like him. You're gonna be screaming at her, you're gonna be screaming at Detective Carlson. Trust me on it, because, and like I said, just a trigger warning, it does like have some things that are a little bit graphic with it, especially with how different the time period was. If you're not used to things like that, it can be a little bit, it can be triggering and stuff. So I'm just letting you know. But again, like I said, horror is supposed to be shocking, it's supposed to be triggering, it's supposed to like be something that is not like a drama movie or whatever, or a comedy. But it is definitely one of those films I was like, WTF. But thank you all for joining me. You can catch me. I'm on Threads. I still haven't even downloaded that app. You can follow me on Instagram at The Random Horror Show, all those underscores. Facebook and YouTube is something Kiki of the Horror or something like that. I don't know. Or you can just email me if you want me to review some movies and stuff. I know it's like so much. But I gotta tell y'all, my ghouls and goblins out there and everything. The Random Horror Show is going to be coming to a close of the 6th season, and I will be back around spooky season. I got to take a break from this. Trust me. It's been wonderful, especially with the guests, and especially that I'm starting to put them out on YouTube. So I will be back around spooky season, with some new guests, some new movies out, some good old reviews, some things that I haven't watched that you probably have watched or have not watched, or some of the things that you think that like will be great for me to review. And again, my name is Keisha Lacey, and this is the Random Horror Show.